Hello everyone, welcome back to yet again another episode of Chelsea Talks, and today we are chit-chatting all about podcasts. First, we should probably roll the intro. Before we dive into how do you start a podcast or what you need for starting a podcast, let's talk about what a podcast is. Essentially, a podcast is a talk show, much like talk radio. But instead of broadcasting the show via radio signals, you upload it to a podcasting host website, much like Apple Podcasts or Spotify. So now that we kind of know what a podcast is, let's talk about a few of the basics. When you were talking about starting a podcast, it's pretty evident and not a huge secret that you're going to need some sort of mic to talk into and record your podcast, correct? Yes. But you may be thinking, my gosh, that podcasting equipment is like super expensive. Yes, it is, but there is some alternatives. One being, use what you have. If you have a cell phone, record it directly into a cell phone. If you have, I think that's pretty silly. I think it's 2020, everyone has a cell phone. I'm going to talk a little bit more about recording to your cell phone in a later piece. So just hang on for that. If you are already a filmmaker and if you have a shotgun mic or a mic that goes on top of your camera, you can use that, plug that into your computer. A good thing to keep in mind is the quality of your podcast doesn't really matter until time goes on. So if you don't have a budget for a lot of podcasting equipment or for even a mic, there's a lot of good cheap mics on Amazon. I mean, just type in podcast mic in Amazon and you'll have a laundry list of items that will pop up. One of my favorite cheap mics though is from Rode Mics. They're a very popular brand. You probably know them. They have the NT1 USB Mini, I think is what it's called. There will be a link in the description. So I'm not positive on that name. It's a great little USB mic. You plug it into your computer, you pull up your recording audio, whatever, and you start recording directly into the mic and into your computer. Once you've recorded your first episode, you're going to need a way to edit your audio file. There is several different options. If you're a Mac user, you can use iMovie, GarageBand. I personally use Adobe Audition. If you're not a Mac user and you're a PC user, there's an app called Audacity. That is, if you don't want to pay for Adobe Audition, Audacity is free. I've not personally used it, but there are some great reviews about it on the internet, and you can check that out for yourself. Last, but certainly not least, you're going to need a way to host and distribute your podcast. Before we talk about which platform I like and personally use, let's talk about what a podcast platform is. Essentially, it's a website where your podcast lives and they push or distribute your podcast episodes to other platforms like Apple Podcasts. For my podcast, Coffee with Creators, my friend Michael Soledad and we use Anchor, which is an all-in-one platform where you can create, distribute, and even monetize your podcast directly to your phone. Remember in the beginning when I was saying if you didn't have money or a budget for a mic, you can record directly to your phone. Well, with Anchor, that makes it super easy. You can record, edit, and then publish. It publishes to Anchor, and then Anchor takes all of the hard work out for you and distributes your podcast to others. Like I said, Apple and Spotify. First, before you even do those things that I mentioned, make sure your story is good. The story that you're trying to portray is good. Everything else will come later. You can buy the more expensive mics and equipment and interfaces, and all of that stuff can come when you start monetizing your podcast. So I hope you guys got some good information out of this, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, give me some thumbs up if you like this video, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks so much. Hello everyone, welcome back to yet again another episode of Chelsea Talks. Today is all about podcasting. Hello everyone. And essentially a podcast is a radio talk show, much like talk radio. But instead of broadcasting those signals via radio signals, putting it as an RSS link or an RSS feed something